in the US Capitol. We were in disbelief. We were in shock. In addition, we have been experiencing loss and loneliness as we have lived with the burden of stress, anxiety, and isolation during this past 10 months and even longer. Our hearts are also hurt every day when we learn about the deaths surrounding COVID-19 or even during protest. All of this is not easy. We do not have all of the answers, and we do not know what will happen tomorrow, even today. We do not know what will happen in the next hour, the next minute, or the next second. As we prepare for tomorrow's inauguration of the next president of the United States of America, let us remember what we just celebrated a day ago on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We have a shared commitment, a shared obligation to bring everyone together during a challenging time like the one we are currently living through. Let's think about our students and who they will grow up to become someday. Let's be the example that they need to see. As Dr. King said it, if we are to succeed, I am now convinced that an absolutely nonviolent method must be ours amid the vast hostilities we face. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Moving on to D2, report out of closed session. The Board of Education met in closed session to discuss public employee discipline, dismissal, release, non-reelects, conference with labor negotiators, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, and settlement of claims. A motion was made by Vice President Johnson and seconded by Board Member Smith to approve the notice of intent to dismiss the statement of charges for classified employee number 199474 and was approved by the Board of Education by the following vote, 5-0. A motion was made by Vice President Johnson and seconded by Board Member Smith to approve the notice of intent to dismiss and statement of charges for classified employee number 160002 and was approved by the Board of Education by the following vote, 5-0. All right, moving on to item E, open session. We are at the Pledge of Allegiance, excuse me. That will be led by Daly Swanson, 8th grade student from Landmark Middle School.
Good evening. My name is Daly Swanson, and I'm an 8th grade student from Landmark Middle School. Please rise and put your right hand over your heart for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Go visit Alaga Ravens.
No shame in an extra plug. All right. Thank you very much, Daly Swanson. We appreciate that. All right, moving on to E2, dates of future board meetings. This item is not an action item, but we just want to express exactly what the future board meetings will be. So we have a board meeting on February 9th, March 9th, April 13th, April 27th, and May 4th. Dr. Kizio, do you have any?
27th in addition?
I'm sorry, Ms. Smith?
Is the April 27th in addition?
That's a study session.
Yes. Is that an addition that we didn't have on our calendar before, or has that always been there?
It's always been there.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I was just looking at my calendar. I didn't see it, so. Okay.
I have it down.
All right. Any other questions or concerns from the board? Dr. Kizio, do you have anything else to add to this?
No, sir.
All right. Okay, we're moving on to E3, which is our favorite time of our board meetings, Superintendent's report. Dr. Kizio.
Thank you, Mr. Payton. So on these slides, we're going to talk about our new mission and our new vision and mission, and how they're related to our what's been accomplished in This was approved on December 15th by the Board of Education and by all the many of the community members who voted and gave us input on this. But our new vision is to empower students to become future ready and positively impact the world. And our mission is we'll provide an equitable education for all students to be prepared for college and a viable career path for a successful life. And we'll be talking more about how that's going to be communicated. But on the next slide are our 11 commitments. And on the next slides, I'll go into some of the ways that has been implemented in our district. And I just wanted to remind people of we have 5 goals now instead of 4. And then we have these outcomes and goals for every school in our district. And they have a baseline and a target for every school. And this is what we use to measure our progress. So on the next slide is a student at Towngate Elementary School. She's in Carrie Balderrama's class. And she used commitment number 3, listen to understand. And she wrote a really just amazing essay on cell phone use. And she's in the 5th grade at Towngate Elementary. And we want to thank her for using her writing skills, but using her voice and writing an incredible essay about cell phone use in schools. So thank you, Warda Khan. And then I wanted to, on the next slide, this is always start with our why. And I want to congratulate Moreno Valley High School. They have 3 of our high schools have the BAR program, which is building assets, reducing risk. And Moreno Valley High School has implemented it. And every high school's done a great job of implementation. But they were recently singled out by the BAR community, where they wanted to talk about Pedro Nuno and LaToisha Brown's implementation at Moreno Valley High School. And they highlighted the great success of teachers recording lessons for students to help meet their needs during this pandemic in an article they posted on BAR's website. So you can go on BAR's website and read about Moreno Valley High School. And they wrote a blog post in response to a USA Today article about mitigating learning loss. And they wrote about Moreno Valley High School's BAR program. So we're very proud of Moreno Valley High School and them having this recognition across the country. So thank you to Pedro Nuno and Mrs. Brown and all the people that are involved in that program at that school. And then on the next slide, and at the bottom of each slide, you'll see what goal we are representing there. It tells whether it's goal 4, goal 5. And so each one represents what we're doing to achieve those goals. This is a Business Education Partnership Award that was given back in December for Canyon Springs High School, but it's from Syned in conjunction with Canyon Springs and in the Moreno Valley Unified School District in building a workforce that's high quality and that meets the CTE standards. So we're very proud of Donna Woods and Canyon Springs High School and their Cyber Patriot program for this honor. And then in the California League of Middle Schools, each year they honor middle school students, middle school teachers who have been successful with middle school students. And this year there was a drive-through celebration. Mr. Holguin attended. It was at Vista Heights Middle School, and it was for Riverside, San Bernardino, Inyo, and Mono counties. Because of the pandemic, we couldn't hold it in person. But in our district, Christopher Lindquist, who's an avid teacher at Landmark Middle School, was the district representative. But I'd like to recognize tonight all of the nominees from our district. Courtney Davis, who's a science teacher at Badger Springs, Tori Gonzalez, who's a 6th grade teacher at Mountain View Middle School, Hilda Rodriguez, who's a counselor at Palm, and Megan Lenz, a teacher at Sunnymead Middle School, Kavita Shanker, who's a science teacher at Vista Heights, Lori Roos, who's an 8th grade language arts teacher at Vista Heights, and Elliot Holt, a counselor at Vista Heights Middle School. I also want to thank Esperanza Arce, who is the director of secondary education, but she's also the trustee for Region 10 for California League of Schools, and was instrumental in working with a panel and a group of people to honor the teachers. This year we had more nominees than we've ever had, And we were able to recognize 25 teachers in Riverside and San Bernardino and Inyo and Mono counties. And they drove through at Vista Heights, and it was really a high level praise and supportive for middle level education. So we congratulate all of these teachers. On this next slide is a student at Valley View High School. And as you may know, the theater program at Valley View High School every year, Jeannie Lopez, the theater teacher, sends students to this competition. This is a competition that is just amazing. Some of the board members have attended with me. Last year we were able to go to the Mark Taper Forum, but Dylan will perform live at the Mark Taper for a chance to go to nationals in New York. And he placed in the top 12 for the state in the August Wilson monologue competition. And anybody that knows this student knows he's destined for stars, you know? And so we're so proud of that, but I want to thank Jeannie Lopez and how she really every year has a student that gets in the top 12 for the state. I mean, isn't that amazing?
Outstanding.
I mean, it's just, and Karen Johnson, the principal, for supporting that theater program, and just very proud of them. Congratulations, Dylan. And then we always ask our alumni, and if you know one out there that's being successful, please have them send in what they're doing. But this is a 2017 Vista Del Lago High School graduate who let us know that she's employed by Loma Linda University Health. She announced her acceptance at the Loma Linda Children's Hospital as a MA PSR cardiology program. And, you know, we're just very proud. And she was so excited. And she wrote her teacher and said, I want to share my special news with you. I'm officially employed by Loma Linda University. I will be working for the Loma Linda Children's Hospital, and I'll also be traveling to our satellite locations. It's an honor working with Loma Linda, and I know I will succeed in my future career options with the help of my company and God. But I wanted to make sure I thanked Vista Del Lago High School for how they prepared me for this. So congratulations, Eileen Roja, and we're very proud of you. And then two students that many students contributed to the Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship that was put on again by Moreno Valley College and Riverside Community College Foundation. And Anahe Williams is a 12th grader at Canyon Springs High School, and Kalani Smith, who's a 12th grader at Valley View High School, will both receive a $500 scholarship for their essays that they wrote in this competition. And Kalani Smith, as you may know, is the daughter of Dr. Mashori, who's the principal of La Jolla Elementary School. We're very proud of both of them, and we congratulate them on competing in this contest and for shining brighter with Moreno Valley Unified School District. And then I want to thank, on the next slide, Dr. Buster and her professional development team. They wrote teacher innovation grants for teachers that teach science in our district. That's you had to teach science. And so two teachers were chosen, Pete Burmeister at Moreno Valley High School and Heather Boron, who's at Sunny Mead Middle School. They're getting a program called Physics in a Box, valued at $5,000 each. There were over 950 applicants nationwide. This is real world knowledge of math and science, over 150 hands-on experiments. So that will enhance their classrooms, but it takes people to write about this and to tell about this. And so I'm just proud of the 950 applicants. Two were chosen from Moreno Valley Unified School District. Thank you. And then Michelle Gomez was recently featured again in the National Society of High School Scholars. And this is for her being the top counselor of the year. And you must be nominated by a National Society high school student. A student nominates the counselor. And she's demonstrated outstanding commitment. She prepares students for success in college and in life. She has excellent peer role models, outstanding leadership, and she also received a $5,000 grant that goes to her program at Canyon Springs High School. I want to thank Mrs. Kerr for her support of the counseling program there, and Michelle Gomez for her support of the district counseling program and helping students and teachers and anyone that needs support with what we can do during this pandemic. And then this is something that Dr. Arce in secondary education shared with me that we had a student that was having difficulty applying for FAFSA due to a family dynamic which was out of his control. The student's dream was to attend a four-year university and qualified in every way. However, with this one obstacle, he would not be able to attend. What happened was a group of MVUSD counselors, teachers, team at the student's high school moved into action along with different organizations to work with the student and his family to help make the dream come true. This student has now been able to apply to 4 universities and is well on his way to living his dream. Just one of the many success stories where working as a team can change a child's life. And this is an example of the counseling and the support programs provided by our high schools and our assistant principals who oversee guidance and master scheduling in our district. So thank you for sharing that story with us and congratulations. Our district is participating in Tony Thurman's The Great Kindness Challenge Week, and this will be January 25th to the 29th. And just like in Hearts United last year when it was launched, every school did a kindness challenge, and every school will be doing that this year. Vicki Chavez and Dr. Sheffield and all the people in student services are helping every school develop a kindness challenge during this pandemic to help others know that they care about each other and an education to end hate. So we're very proud to be part of that. And then recently, Greg Solomon, our coordinator of visual performing arts, participated in a blog for the visual performing arts, telling about the things in our district. And people were very pleased to read that VAPA enhances learning experiences for over 41% of our more than 31,000 students. And Document Today, which is a new program that was accomplished this year, encourages students to share their feelings about the world. Art kits with professional supplies and drawing supplies were purchased and increased student opportunities since 2015 for all grade levels. And so Greg participated in that, and everyone throughout the county read about what's happening in Moreno Valley in the performing arts. And then we continue to encourage attendance. These are the same schools that got this the last time, so I'm challenging all the other schools right now. Northridge Elementary, I just want you to know, has higher attendance than they had when we were in person. I mean, this is the highest I've ever seen it. 98.4%, 3% chronic absenteeism. That is like amazing. Mountain View Middle School, higher than when they were in person. 96.8%, 8.8 chronic absenteeism. And Valley View High School and Canyon Springs are always back and forth with this, but Valley View's been doing it a couple of times now, 95.1%. And then we have attendance awards for feeder patterns. And I want you to see these are schools that are improving. The Canyon Springs feeder pattern winner was Seneca Elementary. Moreno Valley was Towngate Elementary. Valley View was Cloverdale. And Vista del Lago was Ridgecrest Elementary. And we're very proud of those schools for what they're doing to increase attendance. And then the middle school feeder pattern was Vista Heights and Mountain View and Landmark. And the winner was Vista Heights with 96.5% ADA, and Badger Springs, Palm, and Sunnymead, with Palm being the winner at 94.1. And then Alessandro School, one of our specialized schools, with 82.1%, and Vista del Lago High School with 94.1%, 4%. This is for most improved schools as they work to improve attendance. And then we can't go without thanking our nutrition services team. Over 3 million lunches have been served since this pandemic has begun, and we continue to do that even in the wind as it was today, the rain or the whatever weather comes, they are out there. And we thank Carla Leiter and her entire nutrition services team and all the people who support it. Transportation. Today I saw a bus going through a neighborhood, and I said, look, there's a bus. And I thought, are there kids on it? That's what I was thinking. And I thought, no, there's lunches on it, So we're really appreciative of the team effort that goes to bringing that together. Now, I want you to know that if you drive by Moreno Valley High School, the School of Arts and Innovation, as it will be known, look at that Performing Arts Center that's rising there. It now has a roof on it. It's a good day that it has a roof on it because of the wind and the rain. But the construction is going along there. I want to thank Samar Asavati for sending this to me and for keeping us up to date on these projects. And then this is Canyon Springs High School. On the next slide, you'll see, I think we missed a slide, didn't we? Yeah, it's okay. This slide is of the new multi-purpose room, the band room, and the outdoor eating area that's being built. And I just want y'all to think about how wonderful this is, especially on a day like today where the wind was blowing so hard and the rain was coming down. I thought about these children at this school who've never had a multi-purpose room, a place to eat, and they used to sit in the halls and all over the place. So that should be something we're all very proud of with Measure M. And then on the next slide is the new building at Canyon Springs. You've probably driven by and seen it. Can't wait to take the board in there someday, but it really is, these pictures, they are clear on yours. I just think the building is beautiful. The furnishings, I want to thank Susanna Lopez and her team and maintenance and operations and facilities, truly working together to provide the best environment for students to learn in. And it'll be so different in those labs and things. I mean, y'all are just going to be really proud when you walk through there. And the next slide is of the new gymnasium at Canyon Springs. Look at that. You'd think you were at the Staples Center or something. It's just magnificent what it's transformed into. Air conditioning and heating, truly a world-class facility. And we can't wait for our students to play in there again, and tournaments that are held there. And then this next month, we celebrate Black History Month in our district. And we're going to have a drive-through celebration on February 4th at Vista Del Lago High School. And then we'll have a keynote address by Shirley Weber. Can y'all believe it? Shirley Weber is going to be a speaker here in our district on February 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. And I promise you, Dr. Weber will not disappoint. You're in for a treat to hear her speak. We also look forward to congratulating on her in her recent appointment as California's first African-American Secretary of State. We're looking forward to seeing everyone on February 4th and February 24th. And we're very proud of what we do every day for all students, but especially during Black History Month, celebrating the accomplishments and the significance of Black History Month with all of the things that happen during that month. And so every school has activities happening. These are the district activities. And then on this next slide, we pay tribute to a legacy of a member of our community. It was the first mayor of Moreno Valley, Marshall Scott. And unfortunately, he passed away. And there will be a service for him this Saturday at 2 o'clock at the Grove Church. And of course, we'll have social distancing and be outdoors. But the Moreno Valley Unified School District would like to express our heartfelt condolences to the family of Mr. Marshall Scott, and our thoughts and prayers are with you. But thank you for what he helped to create here and what we are working in. So I want to thank everyone for what they're doing to help our vision and mission statement realize each of the outcomes and the goals. And each day we have a new opportunity, and each month we share all of these. But we're just real proud of our students and our community for all that's happening. Thank you, Mr. Peden.
Thank you, Dr. Kiziora, for that update. Some great information there that you shared today. Moving on to E4 recognitions, communications and events. E4A, which is our resolution number 2020-21-53, the Great Kindness Challenge Week, January 25th through 29th, 2021. And so a quick summary: Board of Education of the Moreno Valley Unified School District joins in proclaiming and observing January 25th through the 29th, 2021 as the Great Kindness Challenge Week. The Board of Education supports Moreno Valley Unified School District staff to work together to celebrate kindness and ensure that our community is a safer place for all children and adolescents, a place where everyone feels respected, safe, valued, and take to heart. Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. I know Board Member Smith is going to be presenting this resolution, but first I will entertain a motion to approve this resolution 2020-21-53. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this resolution.
Okay, there's a motion on the table. Is there a second? Looking for
I
a
second the
second.
motion.
Dr. Locke, second. Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Dr. Locke,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Vote carries. Ms. Smith.
Yes, I'm happy to present the Great Kindness Challenge, and we have with us today, I see Stephanie Flowers. Is Lynn Sheffield here, Dr. Sheffield? No, so I guess, Stephanie, you're on your own for accepting this award. Next week, schools across the country will be participating in the Great Kindness Challenge. Moreno Valley Unified supports anti-bullying throughout the school district. We have made a commitment of creating and maintaining a bully-free, safe, and secure environment for our children and adolescents, even during distance learning. Our Hearts United campaign had district staff and community members at schools during grab-and-go lunches, supporting families and spreading kindness from a safe distance. Our students and staff have joined together to help spread kindness and encourage acts of kindness locally, and urge all citizens to create their own acts of kindness, pay it forward, and to match the magic and transformative power of kindness over bullying. Therefore, we are pleased to pass this resolution, which joins in proclaiming and observing January 25th to 29th, 2021 as the Great Kindness Challenge Week. And during this time, I would challenge each of you to find opportunities this week to do something kind, something nice for other people. So Stephanie.
Hi, thank you. Just on behalf of the school counselors, I'd like to say thank you for recognizing the importance of kindness and teaching it to our students. We're also excited to participate in the Great Kindness Challenge next week with our families. And with each small but genuine act of kindness, we create a ripple effect within our community that nurtures love, acceptance, and inclusion. And that's pretty special and worth celebrating. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flowers, for those words. We do appreciate it. Okay, moving on to the next item. One second while I find it. E4B, Resolution 2020-21-54, National School Counseling Week, February 1 through 5, February 1st through the 5th, excuse me, 2021. So the quick summary about this resolution: the Board of Education of the Moreno Valley Unified School District does hereby recognize the week of February 1st through the 5th, 2021 as National School Counseling Week in honor of the dedicated services provided by school counselors. I know Dr. Locke is here to present this resolution. And of course, we will need to be, I'll be entertaining a motion, but first, if there's any, is there any other comments or questions that the Board of Education may have pertaining to this item? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2020-21-54.
I'd like to,
I move that we approve resolution 2020-21-54, National School Counseling Week as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. There's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, I second by Dr. Locke. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Dr. Locke,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Motion carries. Dr. Locke.
Okay, thank you. I'm honored to present this, resolution. As we all know, school counselors play an important role on our campuses, helping students see their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development. They also help parents find opportunities in the challenging journey through student development and help focus on positive ways to enhance the social, personal, educational, and career growth of their children. In addition, school counselors collaborate with teachers and other educators to provide opportunities for students to see their true potential. During distance learning, our counselors have gone way and beyond. They played an essential role in keeping our students and schools connected and ensuring that the social emotional needs of our students are being met. In honor of their work, the Board of Education is pleased to recognize the week of February 1st through 5th as a National School Counseling Week. And I wonder, is Patty Rucker and Gilbert Velasquez, counselor at Sunnymead Middle School?
Dr. Locke, they couldn't join us this evening, but Mr. Gilberto Velasquez did send a message for us to read for him.
Okay, thank you. Would you read that, please?
Good evening, Dr. Kidzero and Moreno Valley Unified School Board members. It is with great pleasure and gratitude that I accept this resolution in honor of National School Counseling Week. On behalf of myself, my colleagues, and admin at Sunnymead Middle School, all of our amazing school counselors in our district. It is a pleasure to work alongside such an incredible group of professionals, school counselors with the same goal in mind, to help students reach their goals and become productive members of society by giving them the tools necessary for success. Thank you again for all your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Okay, moving on to E5, staff responses to public comments made by at the previous meeting. Excuse me, Dr. Kidzero.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Peden. And on the first response to public comments, we had at a previous meeting about MVUSD, the Moreno Valley Online Academy. And this was about program changes, or, people asked about, what was happening there. And the principal and I talked extensively, and I want to tell everyone that that the programs at Moreno Valley Online Academy are not changing. We continue and will continue to offer one-on-one support, small group instruction, blended learning labs, and the flexibility that are a staple to what makes Moreno Valley Online Academy successful. The information provided to the parent was provided incorrectly and inaccurately in the public comments that were made. The only thing we are doing is updating our district brochure, which clearly delineates the MVUSD, Moreno Valley Online Academy, High School A through G program and the MVUSD Independent Study Program. No child's educational program will be impacted, and they will continue to receive the high quality academic and educational support they currently receive. On behalf of Moreno Valley Online Academy, administrative and staff, we appreciate these comments and continue to commit all students to academic success and post-high school accomplishments. Mr. Peoples, wanted to remind people that he's there. If any of you or any person would like to speak with him, the school is Bridges Learning Center, and it comprises Moreno Valley Online Academy, the Bayside Community Day School, and the GO program, Graduation Opportunity, and our Moreno Valley Charter Learning School. So it has several programs like any school, but it is the Bridges Learning Center. It has one principal, one assistant principal, and they work together to provide the services they do. And those will continue, and they'll be improved. They're going to get better. Then there were 18 comments in support of distance learning. And at the last board meeting, 18 people spoke in favor of remaining in distance learning, and the board voted to remain in distance learning for the remainder of the school year. We continue to provide new resources for our staff and students and to make distance learning as robust as possible. And there's continued work in that area that we will continue to update you on. And then there were comments regarding Diego Stoltz's family, and the pending lawsuit. And as we said in a press release on December the 4th, the board wants to make sure that its philosophy is clear in not alleging, contending, or taking the position that the family, including Diego, is responsible for his passing. The board has retained new legal counsel that reflects the district's philosophy. And then there is one other set of public comments that is about yes, here they are. So we had these are miscellaneous and not, they're different ones. So the first one is from a community member that talks about our Community Advisory Committee in special education. And that community member was emailed that response on Tuesday, January 12th, to let him know the information was available. And the request was 4 years of complaints that had to be reviewed and rejected by the special education department. And so that community member is expected to pick up that information on Wednesday, but that did include 4 years of redactions and looking through that. Regarding the CAC, the Community Advisory Committee, although in the past there may have been some areas that demonstrated the need for improvement, for the last several months, our district has been following the bylaws. For example, the bylaws require a minimum of 5 members. Our CAC has increased membership to include a total of 12 members at this time. Of those members, the bylaws state that there should be an executive committee. The executive committee of 5 members is being presented tonight at this board meeting. Regarding the letter on recommendations for special education classes, the special education department addresses issues with each of the families involved. Regarding the support for parents who have students who have been victims of bullying, we have 2 major parent workshops and support groups that offer continuous sessions throughout the year on a variety of topics, which include bullying. They are called the Partners in Parenting University and the Parent Project Series. Additionally, if needed, our student services team will also be looking into a monthly support group for parents who feel that students have been bullied. Regarding the anti-bullying policies, they were improved in March, and the time frame to respond was 1 business day. We encourage parents to submit a report via our online bullying form, which is located on our website. And I do want the public to know that the Board of Education receives every Friday an update of all of the bullying complaints in the district and what's been done with them. That's in a summary that's given to them. And then we had another community member who asked about public records request, and the district received the public records request and will disclose the available documents regarding that request by January 22nd, as stated in the letter of determination. And regarding the acknowledgement form, in which parents were asked to sign to confirm receipt of Chromebooks and responsibility, we want you to know that it's no longer being used and it's not on the district website. And I think that's every one of them, yes. Thank you, Mr. Peden.
Thank you, Dr. Ziora. All right, moving on to E6, public comments on agenda items. Any person requesting to speak to any item on the agenda may do so at this time or when the item is addressed by the Board of Education. Individual speakers shall be allowed to speak for 3 minutes on any agenda item. The Board of Education shall limit the total time for public input on each agenda item to 21 minutes, Board Bylaw 9323B, Section 5, per Board Bylaw 9323. Twice the allotted time will be provided to a member of the public utilizing a translator. Do we have any public comments on agenda items at this time?
No public comments on agenda items.
Thank you, Claudia. All right, moving on to E7, public comments on non-agenda items. Board of Education encouraged public comment. During this section, staff may briefly respond to statements or questions or may ask questions for clarification. The board may refer to staff or other resources for factual information, direct staff to report back at the subsequent meeting, and or direct staff to place the topic on the future agenda item. If someone wants to lodge a complaint against an employee, the appropriate form may be obtained at the school or at any school or the community education center. Individual speakers shall be allowed to speak for a total of 3 minutes on non-agenda items, regardless of the number of issues to be addressed by the individual of the Board of Education shall limit the total time for public input on non-agenda items to 21 minutes per Board Bylaw 9323. Twice the allotted time will be provided to a member of the public utilizing a translator. With Board of Education consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers or against a particular issue and may ask that additional person speak only if they have something new to add. Board Bylaw 9323B-C, Section 5. Claudia, do we have any public comments on non-agenda items?
We have one public comment, and I have my colleague Brenda Tellez who will read it.
Hi. Yes. So I have one non-agenda item in English. The speaker is Jennifer O. Farrell. Dear Superintendent, Cabinet, and School Board members, I want to wish you a happy National Mentoring Month. Mentoring energizes communities. It empowers youth to envision a brighter future. It unlocks new career pathways and educational opportunities. Big Brother, Big Sisters is a proud district partner, and we celebrate with each of you the incredible potential of Moreno Valley City youth and the mentors who are helping them achieve success and self-sufficiency. Our mentoring services provide your students aim to be valued added resource to uplift homeless, foster kinship, and English language learners. Our goal is to support your efforts through creating and maintaining connection in this time of isolation, supporting students through social emotional learning, providing tools for mental and emotional support, all via a mentor. With a big brother or big sister by a student's side, we are proud to share that 60% increase in school attendance, 80% increase in 2 academic subjects, 100% refrain from criminal activity, and 100% this last year graduated high school, and 74% of them were the first in their family to have a diploma. Thank you for your belief in the power of mentoring in all seasons, and especially this critical season.
And that is all, Mr. Peden.
Thank you, Claudia, for that. All right, moving into agenda item F, consent agenda. All matters in this category are considered to be consistent with the board/district goals. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is required, items may be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. It has been brought to my attention that we need to pull item F3C for a separate vote. That item is the acceptance of donations. Claudia, do we need a separate vote for that, or are we okay if we just get consensus that we can do that?
No, you don't need a separate vote. You're pulling the item in for a separate vote.
Perfect. All right, so we have pulled that item. We will need, well, first what we'll do is there any questions by the board about what we're pulling? Any clarity? It's the acceptance of donations. Board Member Smith, I saw that you unmuted, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't skip you if you had any comments.
No, I'm just getting ready to vote.
Okay, understood. All right, so we'll let's go ahead and I'll ask for a motion for the consent item or the consent agenda with F3C being pulled off of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
I move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Holguin, moved by Board Member Smith. Is there a, well, sorry, roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Dr. Locke,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
I'm sorry, this is the whole agenda, the consent agenda, correct?
Yes.
correct, with
Aye.
Mr. Johnson. You're muted, Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Motion carries. Consent agenda as amended has been approved. Now we'll be moving into for a separate vote for F3C, which is the acceptance of donation, which is a part of or was a part of the consent agenda, but now is a separate item to be voted on. Is there a motion to approve item F3C for a separate vote?
I move that we approve item F3C for a separate vote.
Okay, we have a motion on the table by Board Member Smith. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, second by Dr. Locke. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Dr. Locke,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
I'm abstaining on that, Mr. Peden.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Motion carries with 4 yeses and 1 abstention. All right, moving on. Get through this consent here. All right. I believe we're on G, which is discussion items. So this is for superintendent discussion information items, discussion on school COVID-19 updates for 2020-2021 school year. Dr. Kidziora, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Payton. So these are COVID updates in our community. And so I just want to make sure that as I go through this, if you have any questions, I'll pause, but if you don't, I'll just keep moving. And I just want to thank you for all your support with distance learning and all that we're doing here in the district. On the next slide, again, that shows our vision and mission that we talked about earlier. And then these are the COVID-19 updates. And this is updated as of January 15th, 2021. So these are the confirmed cases in the city of Moreno Valley, 28,303. And the number of deaths is 218. And Riverside County, as you can see, is 250,000. And the number of deaths is 2,645. And then in California, 2,996,000 cases and 33,739 deaths. So in the on the next slide, it shows that Riverside County ranks third in positive cases, positive COVID-19 cases, and second in deaths across the state. And that's as of January 19th, 2021. And then this is COVID-19 in the United States. As you can see, is the country with the highest cases of COVID-19. And then on the next slide is the number in red at the bottom demonstrates the increase of cases since the first time that we began to provide you with these updates. So you can see from July to January, there's an increase of in the city of Renal Valley of 15,194, in the county of Riverside, 130,745, and then in the state of California, 1,379,598. So that's just to give you a look at what's happened since July. And then this is the regarding deaths over time. And the last one was, I don't know if I made that clear, was COVID-19 cases over time. And so again, the number in red at the bottom demonstrates the increase of cases since the first time that we began to provide you with these updates. So you can see in the city of Moreno Valley, an increase of 105 deaths, and in the county of Riverside, 1,069. Is that 59 or 69? 1,059. Yeah. And then in California, the increase. So on this next slide, this is a summary of estimated cases. Riverside County Department of Education, Department of Public Health is working on updating the way they receive reports of positive cases from districts. Simultaneously, depending on their model, we are also working on creating a dashboard so that it's easier to view how many cases we have district-wide on a daily basis. Currently, we are tracking the total positive cases, whether they were working on campus or if they were working remotely. So please know that although it shows a total of 236 cases, those are not all cases that have been on campus. Please remember that there are a variety of factors involved and that each case is unique. When we receive a report of a positive case, we take immediate action to mitigate any potential exposure, but we also have to go back and verify that information. This is done through a process, so please know that these numbers are a summary of where we are at that time. So when we talk about a reopening plan, this is where we are in the purple in Riverside County. And so then in the next slide, this is something that we receive a lot of phone calls, emails, discussions about, and this is a vaccine update. And the vaccine doses allotted, 210,575, and the vaccine doses received, 157,775. And vaccines are available for employees who work in Phase 1A, all tiers, and Phase 1B, Tier 1, and people age 65 and older. These are frontline essential workers in education or in Phase 1B, Tier 1. They must live or work in Riverside County, and they must have an appointment and an employee badge or a letter. But we have badges for our employees, and if they don't have a badge, they should get one before they go. Currently, we do not have a schedule for appointments. CIS members will receive COVID-19 vaccinations with no member cost share. And you can visit www.ruhealth.org/COVID-19 vaccine for more information and vaccine clinic registration links. I know there are people that are getting appointments, and you can. We are working with Riverside Health Medical Clinic to set up a vaccination program here in the district, but that has not the logistics. We were on the phone with them today. I was working with Candy Jonathan, one of our school nurses, Dr. Sheffield, our Director of Student Services, and our associations, and Dr. Verdi. And I was talking to our safety and security and different people and how to logistically do this and where to store vaccination, storage of that. And but we don't have a plan yet. We're just preparing for it. And so once we do, we're going to notify you immediately. But in the meantime, on the next slide, this is a screenshot from today. And you can see it says full. And many times when I'm giving this, like in the principals meeting the other day, I was sharing this with the principals, and principal said, well, I'm gone there right now and I'm getting an appointment. So it depends on when you're looking at it, but this is the way it looked when we looked at it. As you can see, they get booked very quickly, and we're working with the county to review logistics and prepare for the possibility of doing vaccinations within our district. So I just think this is an important part of this, and we continue to work with everyone. There's, as you might imagine, logistically, a lot to consider and a lot to work out. But we are continuing to have dialogue and conversations. People are calling, and we're working with them, and we take their phone calls immediately. I wanted you to know that,
Dr. Kidziora, every time I've checked that website, all of the appointments have been full. I've never seen a time when there was actually an available appointment. I think it's important for us to work with the county health department in getting a site set up in our district. I also think we could work with the city on this. There are no sites in either Moreno Valley or the city of Riverside. Their sites are in Corona and Beaumont and Menifee. There is no site anywhere within 20 miles of Moreno Valley. So I think it's even more important since our city has been so impacted to move ahead as soon as we can with getting a site in Moreno Valley.
we agree, and I have talked to the city council myself, and we talked about trying to get something here. Again, I don't know how those got established in other places, but we continue to dialogue. Everyone's trying to work together to try to make this happen.
Thank you, Doc. Oh, sorry, Coach. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
I was just gonna just piggyback on what Board Member Smith said. I think we all understand how important it is, and clearly, to get a vaccination site in Moreno Valley, it would have to be on a school site. I mean, there's no other probably location that would even have any potential for to service that many people, I would imagine, right? So, I mean, I'm on board. Whatever we can do to help, just let us know. But I'm so happy to hear that in your report that you guys are already having this discussion and trying to move this needle forward.
Oh yeah, we were on the phone with different people today, and we called them. We were very proactive. They had called us on Friday. Sandra Ayala, our director of risk management, was working with our different agencies, and they worked with Anna E. at the Riverside Medical Clinic, worked with us, and we continue to, they were supposed to get back to us by the end of the day, but every agency is overwhelmed and doing a lot of different things. So we're going to start again tomorrow and keep working on it. And then this next area is something I wanted you've all received. This is in communications that I've sent to you, and every person in the district has received it, or their principal has received it, and their principal is sending it out to their staff. But this is our COVID-19 prevention program, CPP. And so if you look at the new and updated topics, it's been updated since you saw it last. And the COVID-19 prevention program has various topics and information related to COVID-19. It was reviewed at a principals meeting extensively on Friday, January 15th. And each site administrator will be reviewing the protocols with their staff to ensure all guidelines are being implemented. And each division head will be reviewing it with their directors so that they can review it with their departments. The prevention program is aligned to Cal OSHA, county, state, and federal guidelines. And then you'll see on this next slide, this is on page 8 in the guide, but it talks about temperature and symptom screening and a sign-in list and cleaning and disinfection and social distancing and washing hands and feeling sick, stay home. As a reminder, just for everyone, we continue to follow all safety protocols like the ones that you see here. If you have come to our campuses, you have probably already noticed on our campuses the following. Someone takes your temperature. You have to undergo symptom screening. You have to sign in. There's more frequent cleaning and disinfection. Everyone is social distancing. Everyone should be washing their hands frequently. And if anyone feels sick, they should be staying home. You're going to see more signage, and we ask that you please follow the same guidelines at home by not mixing with other households. And if you have to, for essential purposes, follow the same precautions, because we have exposure at work and at home. And so it's very important when you go home that you follow the same guidelines. And then in the guide, in the prevention program, on page 10, there's a contact line list, and close contacts are identified. This form should be completed as soon as possible, and we have to complete this document for any staff or student that reports they have COVID-19, including if they are off campus. When we get a case, I want you to know that we have to send the information to the county. And a contact line list must get filled out and reported to the county. For any parent that shares information with us, please know that the school will have to follow these protocols from the county to help stop the spread of COVID in the community. And we thank those parents who have contacted us and worked with us to identify those cases and to get lunch delivered to their house and not be at grab and go and other areas like that. So one of the things that we want to remind people of is, and this is hard, what is a close contact? A close contact is someone who was within 6 feet of a person with COVID-19 for at least 15 minutes over a 24-hour period, starting from 2 days before symptoms appeared, and for asymptomatic patients 2 days prior to their test, until the time the patient is isolated. This includes cumulative 15 minutes. So it's not, this was hard for me to understand in the beginning. And you're also a close contact if you provided care at home to someone who is sick with COVID-19. You had direct physical contact with the person, hugging or kissing them. You shared eating or drinking utensils. They sneezed, coughed, or somehow got respiratory droplets on you. We review these so we make sure that everyone remembers to please make sure you socially distance to ensure you are staying safe. So then I'm going to move to another area, which is athletics conditioning. And this is phase 1 conditioning, which you'll see season A and season B. Now, I do want you to know that today the CIF issued official announcements about this, and these are the updates on the next slide. The CIF has decided to cancel all 2020-21 fall sports championships. So, Mr. Johnson, in Texas, it may be happening, but you're in California, okay? So I just want to remind you of where you are, because, you know, I have people in Tennessee and Arkansas and Mississippi, but they don't live in California, okay? And so it's a different place.
Yes.
High schools cannot play interscholastic contest, any sports competition, as it would be a violation of the California Department of Public Health guidance. Spring and fall athletic conditioning will align with these schedule changes. And I do want you to know that the Riverside University Health System, the public health, every Wednesday, myself and our superintendent's cabinet listen to a phone call at 3:15 every Wednesday from Riverside University Health System. And the county has informed us that they will allow sports conditioning to continue as long as safety precautions are met, social distancing, no indoors, no team competitions, physical conditioning, and individual drills. There will be a spring coaches meeting on January 25th at 5 o'clock, which the board is invited to. Claudia will make sure you get the Zoom link. And this is to review what we reviewed with the fall sports coaching program. And we will resume sports conditioning, and it should say sports conditioning, not sports, on or athletic conditioning on February 1st, 2021. So, I just want you to know that we have this call and they went over this with us, and we are allowed to do this. And they said to keep the cohorts as small as possible. And that's what we're doing, is keeping them as small as possible. They also told us if we haven't started something, don't start something, keep what you have. And so these are just some updates, but they're basically the same about equipment and things that we talked about before, but we highly encourage students to use their own equipment to limit shared equipment. And this is monitored very carefully at every one of our sites and with our athletic directors and our administration, and reviewed at each, there's signage at each area where you go for athletic conditioning. Any questions on that? Anything I've covered so far? So as far as resources, one of the things that we continue to do is update the smart bus schedules. And that's on the next slide. And I want you to know there are, let me see here, 17 buses. And we continue to look at areas where people identify need. And Jim Burleson is amazing working with student services. And so we have updated the bus routes, and we'll be sending this out. We sent it out in tonight's communication. And I also want to remind people that you don't have to use this just because you don't have internet connectivity. Sometimes the internet connectivity at your home can be slow or it can be interrupted. This is another place to go to get internet connectivity that is maybe working better. My internet connectivity at my home is not the same, excuse me, as the internet connectivity in this district office. So I say this because sometimes people think it's just for people that don't have internet connectivity. This is for anyone that needs this and can use this. So if you're having trouble connecting to the internet, you can now connect to the smart bus system. In order to support our families, some school buses have been equipped with internet connectivity. They're parked in a variety of areas during synchronous instruction to support students without internet connection at home or who have internet connection issues. The Wi-Fi signal reaches up to 300 feet from the bus, allowing up to 65 students to connect at one time while practicing social distancing. So I just want to make sure that the community knows this is available, and we're very proud to offer this, and students do take advantage of it. And the 17 locations are listed there, and if you identify another area, we'll always look at that. On the next slide, we talk about technology support. And I want to thank Technology Innovation and Assessment. This is a continued opportunity for students to get support. We have Chromebook Assistance at the district office from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Fridays. And there's someone here that will exchange your Chromebook, look at your Chromebook, help you with a Chromebook issue. Also, we have a help desk that you can call, and this is 571-7676. It's from 8:30 to 7 p.m., 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and it's from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on Fridays. 571-7676. You know, you get help. I mean, there's support, and the people do an excellent job of giving that help to students. So these are some reminders for students as we continue in distance learning. We want to remind students to be online and ready for class. That means you have to start a little earlier, like logging in, like this board meeting. All these board members and myself, we didn't just log in at 6 o'clock. Many of them got on here 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early. They wanted to make sure their sound worked. They wanted to make sure that their connectivity was fine. And, you know, you get yourself prepared. So I realize this is different, and you just can't show up right at the time. And then if something doesn't work, then you may not know about it. So actively participate. Just like in this board meeting, all of the board members and the cabinet members that are on here, they have their screens on, they're listening, they're taking notes. Be prepared at least 5 minutes before class time. Be aware of your physical surroundings. Avoid anything that could be distracting if you can. We realize it's difficult. That's why sometimes these bus stations could be good if you have multiple people living in a home and you need some distance, or you need some quiet, or you want to go to one of these, and it could be helpful. Remember, we've given every student headphones to minimize other sounds or distractions. And if you don't have your headphones, contact your principal. They have these. And they also have mice for you to use too, the mice that you use with your computer. And then remember, always be respectful when you're on Zooms and distance learning, because people want to learn, teachers want to teach, and we want you to be educated. And we know that there are so many students that are doing well with distance learning, and there are students that are not. But that was true when we were in class. There were a group of students that had difficulty and students that did well. But Miss Johnson told me at Valley View High School, for instance, they have 70 students that have a GPA of 4.0 or above in their senior class. They've never had that many students with that high a GPA. So there are, some students that are thriving, other students that are struggling. But we want to help all students be prepared and also get an education. So we want to help you with that. Some of the next steps is we want to continue to, on the next slide, is to continue contracted services for special education assessments, continue monitoring English language learner assessments, prepare our classrooms for COVID-19 precautions, monitor the health department guidance to bring marching band back to campus. That could happen in the next phase. They're working with us, but this would be not to practice with instruments at this time, but just to do certain drills and certain other activities. We are collaborating with the city of Moreno Valley to set up small learning hubs throughout the city. They're working with us on our buses because they allow us to use the parks and park the buses there. So they've been very cooperative in working with us, and we appreciate that. Our special education small groups are on hold pending guidance from the health department, because they've asked us not to begin something if we hadn't started it already because of the number of COVID-19 cases in our communities. We are focusing on learning loss right now and social emotional learning, providing support to students and families. At the principals meeting on Thursday of last week, we had a 2-hour principal meeting on Thursday and a 2-hour principal meeting on Friday on Zoom. And it went a little longer too, both days. But we did Miss Maddox and the professional development team and all the directors did an extensive guide on how to, what to do when you have learning loss and how to address it. And there will be follow-up on that. So there is continued emphasis on this and continued work being done. There's a communication plan for our new strategic plan where we're going to make sure that every parent group and every group that we work with in the district is aware of this, and that's part of one of our next steps. And then we have 3 board meetings coming up, with one tonight, and then one on February 9th, and one on March 9th, where we will have a COVID update. And so we want to make sure that people know that these are done at every board meeting. And that concludes my report, Mr. Peden. And are there any questions or comments or?
I have a quick question, but I'll step back if any other board members have any questions or comments first.
I want to thank Dr. Kadzior and staff for these updates, because a lot of times we don't have questions, or I'd like to say because they are so detailed. So a lot of things that we're wondering about, it's in the update. So I really want to thank you and your staff for putting these together, and I also for just this, it's about students, and just reading the update, it's everything we can do for students, from the tech support to the social emotional. I mean, I'm so proud of the work being done in our district, from the administrators, Kevin, Dr. Kadzior, the teachers are classified. I just, I think in this situation, everyone is going the extra mile to do what we can do for kids. And I know we will continue. And after COVID is over, we'll just, get kicked into gear to do the next step. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Locke. Board Member Holguin, do you have any comments or questions? Or?
Well, thank you for asking. I was just thinking, based on what Dr. Locke just said, I think this Dr. Kadzior work along with his team, this is a perfect example of local control. Local control to be able to serve our community the way our community needs to be served. Not going outside, but looking at what need there is, what resources are available, and looking at the guidelines and all those things from the health department, but still looking at our students and our families and being able to serve them. So I just want to say thank you for that, and thank you to the board for that local control, staying within our district. Thank you.
Absolutely. Board Member Vice President Johnson, do you have any comments? I see you're unmuted.
Yeah, I don't see myself, but I guess I'm there somewhere.
Thank you. I think you clicked off your video, but we can hear you.
Okay, I don't know why I didn't touch it. Okay, but anyway, I do want to thank Dr. Kadzior for a very thorough report. He always gives us some in-depth information, and I appreciate that. I was on the phone with CIF just a few days ago, and he's right about sports that we're done in Southern California, and there's nothing we can do about that. It is what it is. But everything that he's given us, we really appreciate that. And I made some notes, so as I talk to people in the community, I'll make sure I pass that on. Just let them know that we are still working. We're not here just standing around waiting for the word to have us go back to school or anything like that. So I do appreciate what he's done and what he's always been doing for us. That's about it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vice President Johnson. And Member Smith, do you have anything to add? Or?
Yes, I'd just like to say thank you to Dr. Kadzior for keeping us updated. Your presentations are always right on point.
Okay.
And it's encouraging to know what's going on. I'm a little concerned about the sports. I know we can't do anything about it, but I'm sure we have people that are seniors who are looking for sports scholarships. I'm concerned about those students and what might be happening with them. I guess that was my biggest concern going through this, is that those people that maybe were looking for a football scholarship or something, I don't know if that's going to be still available to them. And I hope we can do something for those students. Other than that, your presentation was great. Looking forward to a vaccination clinic right here at one of our campuses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I agree with all of my colleagues. One question I did have, Dr. Kiziora, I mean, it's awesome that we increase access for our young people to get connected to the internet. But do you all have any numbers and how successful we're being in terms of folks actually connecting to the wireless hubs on the buses?
I mean, how many people use the buses?
Yeah.
We can get that. We just started it, so we
Mhm.
haven't collected that data yet, but we can.
Okay. And then also, is there any help that we can do in terms of getting the word out on social media? Is this information online where we can share it or anything?
It's on our district website, our
Okay.
social media page, our Facebook page.
Okay.
Denise Figueroa keeps that updated on there. But y'all can share it in any groups that you're in because you have it in the any updates that we send or this PowerPoint that you're going to get. But yeah, please do share it and post it or give it to people so they know.
Yeah, will do. Thank you so much. And thank you for the update and being so thorough with it. I mean, a lot of questions that, well, I mean, I know that I come into the meetings with, or just during the week, you cover on the reports. You're making our job really easy.
Well, I write down everything you say, so I hope.
Yeah, I think we can see that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there isn't any other comments or question, we'll move on to, I believe we are on, let me just double check here. Yes, we are on agenda item H, which is action items. H1, education services, action item. H1A, approve officers of the Special Education Community Advisory Committee for a 2-year term. Ms. Maddox, can you assist us with this item, please?
Thank you. Board approval is being requested for the names of 5 Community Advisory Committee CAC members who have been nominated by the CAC membership during their November 18th, 2020 meeting and subsequently elected via electronic ballot during the December 16th, 2020 meeting per Article 4 of the CAC bylaws. The CAC membership is putting their names forward for the officers of the Executive Committee for a 2-year term. This opportunity was open to all members in good standing, and these are the parents who have elected to move forward within the CAC. I want you to please note that all the 5 candidates for these positions are parents of students with IEPs and are currently have students enrolled in our schools. For chairperson, we have Christina Horta. For vice chairperson, Joanna Leyva. For secretary, Jennifer Grisham. For community liaison, Virginia Sosa. And for community liaison, Reina Galindo. Would like to request board approval for this advisory committee officers for a 2-year term.
Thank you, Ms. Maddox. Board members, do you have any questions or concerns or comments on this item before we entertain a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment.
Please.
I just want to note that I think Ms. Maddox already said it, but these names are parent volunteers. So I'm extremely thankful, and I'm sure we all are, because these parents, beyond all the work that they have at home and responsibilities and whatever they work individually, they are making the commitment to participate actively in this committee. That's number 1. And then number 2, make the commitment to be officers of this committee. This is a very important committee in our district and in any other district. So I just want to express my appreciation to all of them for their volunteering, for their willingness to serve in this capacity. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Holguin. I agree with you 100%. Couldn't said it any better. So thank you for your comments. Any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, at this time I will entertain a motion to approve officers of the Special Education Committee Community Advisory Committee, CAC, for a 2-year term as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice President Johnson, seconded by Board Member Holguin. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Dr. Locke. You're muted, Dr. Locke.
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, now we're moving into H1B, COVID-19 graduation requirement amendment. Ms. Maddox, you can assist us with the item, please.
Thank you. I first would like to start off saying that our students, Moreno Valley Unified School District students, have been impacted and continuing to be impacted by the academic, social, emotional, and economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. And in addition, due to the school closures that began on March 16th, 2020, and have continued in the fall of 2020, students have been challenged and have had to adjust to a different way of learning. Staff is recommending tonight board approval to lower the graduation requirements for current high school students graduating in 2021 by 40 elective credits at the comprehensive high schools. Please note that there is already board policy changing for alternative education students to 185. This recommendation is in accordance with the minimum graduation state requirements and also does not affect students in their A through G completion rates. This proposal will be considered for students in the class of 2021 who are in danger of not receiving their high school diploma due to the challenges of COVID-19. Would like to ask for board approval for this amendment to our graduation requirements, which will go to 185 for the class of 2021.
Thank you, Ms. Maddox. Board members, any questions, comments, or concerns?
I just want to reinforce, and thank you for this. And the idea that, as it stated, it's elective credits. So it's not taking away from the core, like the required, like the English and the math and the sciences. So
Correct.
But thank you for bringing this forward. I think it's very beneficial for our students.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dr. Locke, for emphasizing that. Vice President Johnson?
No, I think it's a very wise decision as well. Those kids have been working hard. And I know a lot of them have been worried about what's going to be happening next year when they are seniors. So I'm just thrilled that that we're doing something to help accommodate them.
Board Member Holguin, I saw that you went unmuted. I wasn't sure if you.
Yes, thank you. I just have a question. Ms. Maddox, you explained that this is for the class of 2021.
Correct.
So my question is it only for that one time? And then what happens the following year?
I think then we will evaluate the situation again, with COVID, distance learning, and look where we are at that time. And so this is for this year because of the impact. We are continuing at this time with distance learning. So it's to assist our students meet all those challenges. And it's for students that are needing assistance with credit recovery. And also, I think with interventions, this opens up their schedule a little bit if needed.
So we will revisit this item a year from now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Board Member Holguin. Any other questions or comments? Board Member Smith, did you have anything before we?
No, I'll just say we did make this same decision last year, and now we're making it again for this year's class. So I think we are going on a year-by-year basis. So I think that's good.
Yeah, and I agree. I think at the end of the day, we recognize as a Board of Education in a district that our children, our students are surviving a pandemic, and we need to do our part. So I'm in full agreement. Okay, at this time, I will entertain a motion to amend the graduation requirements for current high school students who shall graduate in 2021. Is there a motion?
So moved.
moved. Oh. Take Johnson, I'll second.
All right, let's do Vice President Johnson motioned, and Ms. Smith, you're saying that you're seconding?
Yes.
Okay, we got a second for Ms. Smith. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Dr. Locke,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we are moving on to H1C, adoption and second reading board policy and administrative regulation 6145, extracurricular and co-curricular activities. Ms. Maddox, if you can assist us once again.
Yes, this is the second reading on board policy and administrative regulation 6145, which brings this policy and update it with CSBA and also alignment with Assembly Bill 908. It does provide a one-time, extends the waiver during emergencies to 1 year for students. That's because of COVID, also to give them extended time to meet the qualifications to participate in sports. And also for our incoming ninth graders, it provides all incoming ninth graders, they will be considered also eligible until the first official grading period. So it's a second reading and request board approval on this board policy.
Thank you, Ms. Maddox. Board members, do you have any questions, concerns, or comments on this item? Okay, seeing none at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve and adopt board policy and administrative regulation 6145, extracurricular and co-curricular activities as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Vice President Johnson. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Dr. Locke. Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Dr. Locke,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Ms. Maddox, for all your work and dedication on these items and just in general. H2, we're moving on to H2 business service action items. H2A, resolution number 2020-21-52 of the Board of Education of the Renal Valley Unified School District, approving the annual and 5-year reportable fees for fiscal year 2019 to 2020. Ms. Lopez, I have not forgotten you. It's your time.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. Government Code Section 66006B requires that within 180 days after the last day of each fiscal year, annual and 5-year reports regarding the collection and expenditure of reportable or developer fees collected from residential and commercial development must be available for public review. We track these funds in our Capital Facilities Fund, our Fund 25. Government Code Section 66006B2 requires that the Board of Education review the report at its next regularly scheduled public meeting that's not less than 15 days after availability of the report to the public. The report was made available on December 27th, 2020. It was made available online on the Facilities Department webpage entitled 2019-20 Reportable Fees Report. Attached is a copy of the annual year and 5-year report fees report for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2020. And pursuant to section code 66006B1 of the Government Code, the Capital Facilities or Reportable Fees Report includes the description of the type of the fees, the amounts that were collected and expended, identification of the projects, and the determination and justification of the fees, and identifying all of the sources and the amounts of any funding anticipated. This public report is attached and presented for your review and approval.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Board members, comments, questions, or concerns on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will at this time ask for a motion to approve resolution number 2020-21-52 as presented.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2020-21-52 as presented.
I'll
Right.
second that.
A motion by Dr. Locke, second by Ms. Board Member Smith. Is there a roll call, please?
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Dr. Locke,
Aye.
Mr. Holguin,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Peden.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to action item I, future agenda items. Board members will have a time during this item to discuss for future board meetings certain agenda topics that we may want to be able to have the opportunity to put on a future agenda item. So this is the time. Any board members, if you guys have anything that you'd like to add, please bring it forward at this time. Seeing none. I think, yes, Board Member Holguin.
Yeah, well, I'm hesitating to ask for this because, you know, it's if I ask for this, it would be just for kind of informational purposes and nothing else. I'm not looking for an action, or I'm looking to do something specific with it. But, you know, just because this has been in the news lately and some community members may want to know about this. And in fact, I got a couple of messages from community members asking me what the district was doing in this respect. So again, this is just for informational item, nothing else. So recently the governor came up with a plan for reopening schools. And you know, I'm not sure I agree with what's in the plan, but I would just like to know if Dr. Getziora, his team can just provide a brief, maybe opinion on that. What does that mean to the district? And again, I'm not looking for any action, any changes, I mean, earlier we saw the report from the superintendent. I think it's very complete. And I think what the district is doing is just an amazing work, and no need to derail from that. But again, just because this has been in the news and people may be wondering. So that's all.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's an important topic. I mean, at the end of the day, it is in the news, right? And folks are talking about it. And at some point we need to probably bring it up for discussion and just hopefully have folks fully understand where we are in district. Dr. Kitts, you have any insight on that at the moment and whether or not we can get that on the agenda for discussion?
Yes, I'll have it in my next report on the COVID-19 update. It'll be a section in there on it.
Wonderful. And Mr. Holguin, would that suffice?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for doing that. Appreciate it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, I don't have, I mean, I was thinking about on this item to ask if we can get some updates on the vaccine sites and if that was where we are with that and if we're going to be participating, which you've already covered that. So I think for me, you're pretty much already covering everything that I would think about. We're having that study session coming up regarding school safety. So we're already on track to get a lot of things done. Vice President Johnson, do you have any insight or anything that you'd like to see on the future agenda, or anybody else before we move forward?
No, I don't have anything that I want to. When I see what Dr. Kitziora put down, he reminds me of things that I've thought about. So no, I think he's done a wonderful job the way he's doing now.
I think I do have one question though, Dr. Kitziora, for a future agenda item. I believe in the last couple of meetings ago, you mentioned how much money we're spending or we have spent on social emotional health since the pandemic started. I can't remember exactly the number, so I don't want to misrepresent that number, but can we get an update on that maybe in the COVID report as well, just so we can have that somewhere we can get a hold of it? And so the public, we could talk about that again?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much.
Claudia's writing all these down, so she's going to make sure I remember.
Thank you, Claudia.
So, and I wrote them down too, but I know between us but absolutely.
Wonderful. All right, if there's no other comments, questions, or any additions to future agenda topics, we'll move forward. Seeing none, Item J, acknowledgement items. We have J1 quarterly report on Williams uniform complaints, second quarter. Ms. Maddox.
Yes, this is an acknowledgement form, which states that no complaints were filed with any school or in the district for the second quarter, which was from October to December 2020.
Thank you very much. Moving to J2, state minimum wage increase. Dr. Verde.
Yes, this is again just to recognize that as of January 1, 2020, per the change in state law, the district has updated the effective salary schedule to signify the increase to $14 per hour as the current minimum wage in our state. So that has been updated.
Thank you, Dr. Verde. And board members, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns on these items that we just went through? No. Okay, seeing none. We will move to, are we already there? Yeah, like we're on K. Did I skip anything? I feel like we skipped stuff. Let me know if we skipped anything. I feel like that was kind of fast.
You're good.
We're good. Claudia, Dr. Kizior. All right. Okay, so we're on K, comments from board members and superintendent.
So I'm going first.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. You know, when we look back over this past year, our students and our families have been through a lot. We've been through this pandemic. Many students have seen members of their family get sick or be hospitalized. Some have even had members of their family who have passed away because of the pandemic. This has been a difficult time. They've had to do learning at home. They haven't been able to see their friends. Things have been very difficult. We've had a very contentious presidential election. We had rioting in the Capitol. I'm sure most of our students saw that on the TV news, and it can be very upsetting for children. I just like to read something that I saw on the internet a little while ago, and I thought maybe it was applicable to our students. It says, to all those parents trying desperately to do learning at home, I had a parent tell me this week, I missed 4 years of school in Bosnia during the war. 4 whole years with a war happening. I came to Australia at age 13 with no English and no schooling since I was 8. I'm 33 and I have a university degree and a very good career. The kids will be fine. Don't sweat it. Every kid in the world is in the same boat. They aren't missing out and they aren't in a war zone. Chill. Their teachers are doing the best they can. You are doing the best you can. They are children. What they want is to feel safe and loved. And I hope that we can give our students help in feeling safe and loved, whether it comes from our staff, our teachers, and their parents, most of all. Give them an extra hug tonight and help them to feel loved. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Smith. I forget the order where we at. Dr. Locke.
I want to say, wow, following that, well said, Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
I just want to reiterate to Dr. Katsura and his staff again about the detailed information that's provided to us. You know, the board meetings, our weekly updates, it really does help us, you know, do our jobs and know what's going on in the district. And of course, for all the employees, everyone that's doing these things. And as Mr. Peden stated at the beginning of the meeting, yesterday our country honored Dr. Martin Luther King. But as we know, one day of honoring him really isn't enough, you know, because he left a legacy. And I'm just hoping from this day forward, you know, that as a country, that we all come together and work towards making his dream a reality. You know, I truly think that we can do that. And, you know, in closing too, I want to thank, you know, Mr. Peden, good job, you know, and, you know, running the board meeting, my, you know, my board members, the cabinet, everyone. I'm proud to be in this district. You know, I'm proud to be a member of this board. And I think we have, as I said before, we have the best employees in the state of California and probably in the country. So thank you.
Dr. Locke, Board Member Holguin.
Yes, thank you. So Ms. Smith mentioned it very well. She said it very well. This has been a very difficult time for everybody, for all of us, for our families, for our students, for teachers, classified staff, management, everybody. Not only within the district, but throughout the county, throughout the state, throughout the nation, and the world. And you know, when these feelings come up of frustration, of you know, loneliness, of wanting to go out and wanting to do something different, and you know, we have experienced that ourselves too. I mean, we've been wanting to go out of the house and go and do something that we used to do and we can't. But we need to be patient, and the time will come. And the important thing at this point is to keep our health and the health of all others around us, not just our families, but everybody else around us. And we need to continue being careful with all the recommendations from the health department and Dr. Katsura and his team within the school district. And I think it is important. It's going to take us there much faster than we want to, or what we have to, but we want to get there, of course. And we want to get back to those activities that we used to do and we're missing. And we're missing a whole year and probably more by the time this is over, but we can still, we'll have the time to do other things. And I believe, at least for myself, I think I will be a better person after all this because of all the learnings that I've gone through by listening to conversations, listening to statements from people like board members and many others and committees that I've been participating via Zoom, of course. And in Zoom, I've attended several meetings that, you know, the agenda has been put aside and just, you know, let's let out how we feel. And these feelings have come out and people have been in tears and, you know, it's just difficult. So I want to read a couple of items on the resolution that we adopted tonight, the kindness. And one of them says that Moreno Valley Unified School District has made a commitment of creating and maintaining a bully-free, safe and secure environment for the children and adolescents of Moreno Valley Unified School District. And the students and staff of Moreno Valley Unified School District have joined together to help spread kindness and encourage acts of kindness locally and urge all citizens to create their own acts of kindness, to pay it forward and to match the magic and transformative power of kindness over bullying. I think as we go through these difficult moments, we need to maintain that desire to be kind to one another and the need to be kind to one another because we all need it, right? You know, the people around me need some support and I need it too. So the people that are around me, I hope they give it to me, but I have to give it too. So I really like this resolution because it says it clearly that we need to be patient, we need to be careful, we need to be caring, we need to be kind, and we need to maintain that at all times. And I think that if we continue with those thoughts in mind, we can go through this much faster, and we can continue serving the way we want to serve our students. And we can continue seeing our students succeeding in their education and our families succeeding in their living here in our community. So, so thank you for allowing me to speak these words. Thank you for your comments, Dr. Locke and Ms. Smith. And thank you for all the work, Dr. Katsura and your entire team. And the last thing that I want to say, thank you to every single employee for your patience, for your dedication, for your commitment, for everything that you are doing under these very difficult times. You know, you're still part of the family, and I truly appreciate. I just cannot thank enough every single employee. Things that I see in social media posted by our employees, that they are so transmitting so much energy that we need to continue, we need to move forward, we need our students back, and we need to move on. So I just want to say thank you to every one of the members of the MVUSD family. So thank you.
Great words, Board Member Holguin. Thank you so much for that. Well, Vice President Johnson.
Thank you. I think when you're number, 3 or 4, the people before you steal your thunder, but I'm just going to say the same things, but I'm going to say it a little differently. And I think what I'm going to do is start with Dr. Katsura. You know, we've watched him over the last few months and watched the work that he produces, and we've noticed how he he talks and handle the people that work for him. And I, to be honest with you, I'm really amazed at the changes that he's gone through and the work that he's really doing for us. I don't know if everybody, I know the board knows, but I'm not really sure if the community knows how much effort he has put in helping to change the lives of the folks that work here in the district, as well as all of the students and parents who have kids that attend school here. And to give you an example, you know, prior to the end of the year, we went on several trips with him, visiting schools to make sure they were in compliance with directions that had been given to him. It wasn't his idea, but I never once saw him lay the hammer down and say, look, you got to do this, you better do that. Do want to thank the principals for understanding that things had to be changed. And it really wasn't coming, as I said, from the superintendent. The only thing we were doing was just making sure that we were all in compliance. So I do want to thank all of the principals for the hard work that they've put in to make these changes. But not only the principals, as we visited classrooms, we saw a transformation from the way it used to be for years to the way it is now. But the thing I really want to thank them for is for their understanding. Those orders and instructions did not come from the district. It's all right if they did. I mean, that's what the district's job is. But they came from someone else, and our job was to make sure that we are in compliance. Now, we know that some folks had things, you know, in their rooms that they wanted to keep, and they've been having them for years. Give you an example. Here's a guy right here that did the same thing. I'm on the leadership team, and one of the things that we said, we're going to clean the offices. You're not going to have anything on your wall. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. But guess what? CJ Johnson kept a couple of posters on his walls until someone said, hey, how come you have posters when you guys telling us to take them down? I used the excuse long as I could. Then I thought they were right. The posters I had was of my daughter who worked for the Clippers. But I took them down because, you know, you can't tell folks to do something and you don't do it yourself. And by that, what I mean is the principals, you know, I applaud them for the work that they were doing. And I also applaud the teachers who had been in the room for many, many years. And all of a sudden this change came. And I don't blame them for getting a little raffle, because I just told you what happened to me. I'm one of the guys who make the rules, but I left a couple of posters up. And then I realized, hey, look, my posters had to come down. So again, I really tip my hat to those folks who had stuff in their room, things in their rooms over the years, and they obeyed the new rules and took everything down. So to me, that's saying that I'm going to cooperate. If I'm going to be a teacher, I want to make sure that I teach folks so as they go on through their lives after they leave here, they won't remember that change is something that happens in our lives. So again, I want to make sure that I let everybody know how much we appreciate them. And then we have the people that work in the office. I mean, things change for them as well. Do want to tip my hat and tell them thank you for the work that they've done as well. Yeah, it was a little different, but they adjusted like everybody else. So I'm really proud of our district, and I want to make sure that I said something about that. And the last thing I'm going to mention, I had some things on my sheet, but I'm not going to go through all of them. It's just that I'm going to read this quote that I have. Changing behaviors may be easier when people see norms changing. So it goes back again to what I said, what I had on my walls and what's happening right now. Change can be easier when we know that the norms are changing. So we don't welcome it, but we're going to do what we have to do to make things better. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Johnson. Yeah, so I guess the only thing that I would say, something that I've learned through the several months that we've been in the pandemic, is that there's most important thing that we can do is listen. And I think it's holds true, especially during this time, because we have to have an opportunity to step back. When we're working with folks and our community and our neighbors and all of our students, we've got to step back because people are going through a lot. Isolation, loss, anxiety, stress, and all of the above. I mean, this is a very difficult time. And we just got to continue to listen. I know we do that well here in this district. I know countless times, you know, all of you may know me by now that I'm pretty ambitious and I like to get a lot of things done very quickly. And sometimes that means you're not stepping back and listening to folks around you. And I've had some conversations with some folks in this meeting here about that specifically where, hey, you know, let's get this done. But it's like, wait, let's pause. Remember, there's a lot of people that are in this equation to get this outcome or to get this done. And people are going through a lot. So let's take some time and pause and make sure everybody's okay. As folks and everybody that we're working with are going through a lot. And I think it shows that our district and what we've done on a couple of these pieces of these action items today that Ms. Maddox presented, that we're willing to step back and listen and understand that our community is going through a lot and we have to make sure we're stepping back and listening and doing our part to help get out of this and get through this. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody for everything that everybody is doing, because clearly all of you, the cabinet, all of our staff across the board, everybody is going through some serious ordeals, right? Me personally and my family, I haven't lost anyone yet. And I say yet because we know the risk and it's potential. There's a possibility, and that puts a lot of fear in my heart every day. I know folks that have lost multiple people in their family, and I sit down every day thinking to myself, I hope I don't lose. If we can get out of this without me losing someone in my family, that would be almost a miracle. And so I'm hoping that you know, we all recognize what we're really up against, and we recognize that our friends and family and neighbors and community are going through a lot. And if we step back and listen, I think we'll be in a really good place and we'll be able to move forward in a good way. So I'll just leave that there. I know I was doing a little bit of rambling, but anyhow, Dr. Kidzior.
Thank you, Mr. Peden. So tonight, you know, they're going to bring up a slide that I prepared for the closing because I wanted the 5 board members. And I just want to say that it's 7:55, Mr. Peden. And I've never, since I've worked here for 10 years, I don't think I've ever left a board meeting that's about to end this early. So I don't know what happened this evening, but it was good. But before we leave, I just want you to know, because the public sometimes thinks that, you know, I loved it when Mr. Holguin said to me one time, thank you, Dr. Kidzior, you do it all by yourself. And he was kidding with me, but when somebody thanked me for something, but I want you to know that I do not do it by myself. And, you know, I'm surrounded by people who help me all day long. And then there are 5 board members that I meet with and talk to and that I care about and that I am grateful for. So this is School Board Recognition Month of the California School Boards Association. And they recognize board members. And sometimes you're always recognizing others. So this evening, we take a few minutes here to recognize you. And so I want to read this because it's been prepared. But the Moreno Valley Unified School District is proud to join more than 1,000 local education agencies in the state in recognizing the contributions of board members during School Board Recognition Month. In this time of unprecedented challenges in nearly every sector of life, board members, that's you, have worked tirelessly to help our district establish new ways of ensuring students continue to learn. Board members are elected representatives and add a vital link between the school district and the community. The board sets the foundation and the vision for the district, directs resources where they are most needed, and ensures accountability to the community by monitoring progress towards goals. Their end goal, of course, is to support and elevate student achievement. During this challenging year, the Moreno Valley Unified School District Board of Trustees has worked to ensure that all MVUSD students, transitional kindergarten through 12th grade, have a Chromebook access to Wi-Fi, and continuous technical support to all the families in order to close the digital divide and bring all instruction online. All board members have been extremely supportive with efforts to provide food services for children, even when they're not in school, being direct resources to students most in need and provide social emotional support. So tonight we recognize our school district board members, Mr. Gerald Peden, our board president, Mr. CJ Johnson, our board vice president, Mr. Jesus Holguin, our board clerk, Dr. Marsha Locke, our board member, and Mrs. Smith, our school board member. We hope you will join us in saluting, this is to everyone, our hardworking board members for their support of our students through effective policies and for their continuing advocacy for more resources at the state level. Now, CSBA did have a resolution, and we didn't complete it in time for this board meeting, so that's why I'm doing it now. And I want to apologize for that. But I do want you to know that school board members are strong advocates for public education and are responsible for communicating the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectations to the district. When Mr. Peden asked this evening, what can we do? It's what you do often and what you do, all the time. Share what you learn and share what you find out at these board meetings with others, and continue to develop the understanding that's needed within and outside our community. The mission of public schools is to meet the diverse educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to a democratic society in an ever-changing world is more poignant than ever before. So we congratulate you on living up to these ideals and providing us the inspiration, the guidance, the support, the conversation, the dialogue, the questions, all the things that you do to create a better school district and a better community. So congratulations on being an amazing board of education. Like Dr. Locke said, she thought the employees were the best in the nation. We think that our board is the best in the nation. So congratulations on National School Board Month. And you will each have something in your mailbox that was sent to you by a community, not a community partner that wanted to recognize you for National School Board Month. So, or California School Board Month. So Claudia is going to be putting that in your mailboxes. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Peden.
Thank you, Dr. Kizior, for those kind words. We really do appreciate it. All right, with no further business to come before the Board of Education, the meeting is adjourned at, wow, 8 o'clock. I don't know how that happened.